Communication is important, this is not a secret, but how to set up and maintain efficient communication throughout the project stakeholders. Let's talk about the communication plan. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my project management sandbox. My name is Chris. I'm a PMP certified project manager with a wide experience in the high-tech industry. I'm leading IT and software projects over 5 years by now, and I'm working internationally over 8 years by that moment. And here on my channel, I'm sharing tips and tricks on project management. Make sure to subscribe, tap the bell, and let's get started. In this video, we're gonna talk about managing project communication. And if you want to know my 4 criteria that you need to consider in order to build an efficient project communication plan, then stay till the end. One of the common challenges that people see when they start in project management is a necessity to communicate to many people on a project, or in the many cases, to many people on several projects. So how to do this efficiently? The best way to set up and maintain efficient communication is to create a clear, pure and absolutely transparent communication plan. First of all, let's clarify what a project communication plan is. Basically, this is the project document that outlines the process of delivering project information in the best and efficient way. This means in the project communication plan, we are going to outline the following. Who are we going to communicate to? What information do we need to deliver to those people? When do we need to deliver that information? And what not less important, what media channels or what communication channels are we going to explore in order to deliver that information? So majorly, there are 4 common items that we need to include in the communication management plan. To begin with, let's start with the who question. This means we need to conduct the stakeholders analysis in order to define who is interested in this particular project and who are we going to talk to. Basically, here comes in the stakeholders management plan. To make a little brush up, we need to refresh who the stakeholders are. Basically, stakeholders are the people who could impact or could be impacted by the project. This means that now the stakeholders management plan should come into the game, and we need to analyze what are the people who could be impacted or could influence to our project. Usually, these are clients, team who is going to deliver the project, project owner, or maybe some sponsor, your colleagues who are you going to interact with in order to make the project delivery efficient, end users who are going to use this product in the very end, and they could be actually many more people who are project stakeholders. But what is really important here, when you have the list of those people, you need to prioritize them and to identify who do you need to communicate information about the project to. And what is not less important, how often do you need to communicate that information to those people? Basically, there is a special formula or chart that we can utilize in order to define what category those people are coming to. There are actually 4 categories for such stakeholders on the project, and the categories are keep satisfied, manage closely, monitor, and keep informed. So basically what we need to do, we need to take the list of those people and to distribute to these 4 squares in order to define the best communication approach and the best communication channel that we need to utilize when we are delivering information about the project to those groups. Just to give you some heads up about this chart, there are 2 axes, which are influence and power opportunities on the project and interest on the project. The further you are from the cross line of those axes, the more important stakeholders there are. Obviously, on every project, you will need to conduct an individual analysis of the potential project stakeholders to define who these people are, how can they impact the project, or how could they be interested in this particular project. Getting back to our communication management plan, we have defined who the project stakeholders are, and we have also prioritized those people by distributing them to the 4 general sectors. Now it is time to define what information are we going to deliver to those people. On every project, there is a ton of important information that we are as project managers monitoring, accumulating, and distributing on a daily basis. However, this information may not be equally important or interesting to all of the people who are connected to this particular project. For instance, daily tasks, updates, and progress is the direct interest of the project team. However, on the contrary, this may not be interesting enough for the project sponsor, let's say. On the other hand, news about project budget, project management plan changes, and budget distribution is a direct interest of the project sponsor, while at the same time, this is not something significant for the project team actually. So you see, it is important to filter the information about the project and be accurate in distribution of that information among the project stakeholders. Actually, those 4 squares are going to help us to distribute this information accurately and to deliver this project to the recipient directly. Now, after we have defined who are we going to inform about the updates on the project and what information are we going to deliver to those people, we are moving to step number 3. And here it is important to define when are we going to deliver that information. Getting back to those distributed areas of the stakeholders and to our examples. For instance, you are going to collaborate and to communicate with project team on a daily basis. Definitely, this is gonna be the most active mean of communication. While, for instance, for the project owner, for the client, or maybe for the project sponsor, it would be enough to get results and reports once in a week. And when we are getting back to the end users who we are keeping informed, or maybe to the colleagues that are helping you sometimes on a project, perhaps it would be sufficient and it would be enough for them to get updates about the project once in a month. Just notice that we are responding to the most common questions that project managers are getting, and actually they are applicable to any angle of our project management ecosystem. And they're who, what, when, and how. Now, getting back to the how question. So we need to define how are we going to deliver the information to our stakeholders. Responding to the how question actually is my favorite part of the project communication plan, because here you can apply your imagination. Basically, usually we are utilizing the communication tools that we have on hand in a project. Should this be, let's say, Messenger, or maybe project management tool, or maybe task management tool, when we are keeping information about each particular task on a regular basis and maintaining it up to date. However, from this perspective, we can use much more media and communication channels. My favorite one is creating a blog for a project, and actually this is really handy, specifically if you do not have any common communication tool where you can hold all the necessary information about the project, starting from the project charter and ending with the daily updates. You can also categorize information about the project in the project blog and distribute it based on the people who are you going to keep informed or updated. For instance, one category could be daily updates for the team. When you are posting some changes in the meeting schedule, some changes in the project scope that they need to pay attention to, or some changes in the delivery process. Whatever information might be necessary about the project. For instance, you have already put it in the task tracking tool, but so that people are going to be informed in a timely manner as they are reading the blog. First of all, when they're starting a day, you're going to put the very important items in this article too. At the same time, another category could be updates for your colleagues that you're posting once a month, informing them what changes have been made on a project, what are the delivery dates, what are the milestones that you have hit, and what are the goals that you have achieved within the past milestone. Additional communication channels could be emails, messengers, task tracking tools, project management tools, text messages, phone calls, meetings, and mailing systems. As you can see, there is a lot of ways and opportunities to deliver project information to the end recipients. Now let me know in comments what is your favorite communication tool that you use to deliver information on projects. Now you know my 4 major criteria that I consider when I'm creating the project communication plan. And this is: who are we going to deliver information, what information we are going to deliver to those people, when do we need to deliver it, and what communication channels are we going to utilize. I hope this was really helpful, so support me with a like and chat soon.